what she was talking about because like I said, we have a lot of work to do, and it does start from a community. That's one thing Black people have gotten away from is it takes a village, and we've gotten away from that. We have
Yeah.
so many single families running the household, and the communities are falling apart, and we need to start raising thugs and start raising young men who want to be
Yeah.
educated. And because there's two things that can be promised to you as a Black man without education: jail or death.
Yeah.
and and we need to work on that. We have a lot of work to do, but yet and still, like you said, we need to love ourselves. We need to let the world, not only white America, know that we're here and we are valid.
Yeah.
We are viable, and I think sometimes we don't believe in ourselves because we had so much oppression. And like I told Icon earlier, we some of us. Why even fight? Because I don't have a voice. I'm not going to be heard. I can go do this, and I'll satisfy myself. But we have to think in a grander scheme of things, because there's people looking to us, my generation, as the leaders, and like I said, we don't have one right now.
And it's so true because you know what? Hey, I just finished having a conversation with my son who's 21. He's got one more year to do for his degree in accounts, and I'm like, put that foot on the accelerator and motor all the way to the finish line because you get one chance to prove your greatness. And the thing is, these people out here, they don't care. They just want to know results. And as a Black man, it's so much harder out there. And so make it as easy for yourself as possible. He's a bright guy, but he can get distracted easily by stuff that's going on around him. So I'm like, you know what? Hey, you've just keep it going because you know what? Who else is going to recognize you if you don't recognize yourself? Yeah, you got to recognize what it is you bring and what you want to put out there in the world. Don't look for the recognition from those people out there because you know what they have for you already. Okay,
Exactly.
so you need to be clear about what it is you want to bring and what you want to put down, and be focused. Stay focused. Stop. Being distracted by the hoodie game and the rap music and all the bullshit that they want to distract us with, right? Because they are
Exactly.
distractions. They're distractions. It's not real. It's fun for Jay-Z or whoever else has invested their whole life in that. But they're the few who have made something out of, and even so, it's not a respectable industry. So you know what? Hey, do something that can impact how people and support us for the future because we need a future. The next generation have to take it there.
Yeah.
And if they're not ready, if they're all caught up with crime or being killed, who have we got to represent? Who have we got?
Well,
exactly
also
right.
you're saying about how the culture that it's really about the culture that is actually permeating everybody throughout, not just the United States, but around the world. And I think that it's difficult for a young man or woman or anybody, but a young man specifically, to kind of go against what the mainstream culture is telling them they're supposed to be. And that doesn't mean that they should just go along with it, but I'm saying that it is a difficult road ahead for them to actually say, no, I don't believe that, I don't want that, I want to be this. And so it is something they're fighting all the time. I think they're probably fighting it all the time among themselves, among their peers, all the time. So I can understand how it is a difficult path for someone, especially a young Black man, to have to, I was telling this to David earlier, to have to go through in this world today. It's just almost impossible.
Yeah, and I think that's where those of us who are older, who have been through the experience of, trying to fit in, trying to be successful, it's for us to coach those young people, to their greatness because, they haven't got there, but they need the support. They need our words. They need our energy. We need to get behind them and say, look, come on, this is possible. And I think, we the great thing is, okay, we say we don't have leaders right now out there. I don't see there are that many leaders. But, here's an opportunity to grow some leadership. right?
Right.
By helping these young people to get some backbone and to have the right direction, the right thoughts, the right thinking about the next, their next time, because we've had our time. I mean, it's their time. So for their time, they need to be ready for that, to pick up the mantle. And it won't be all of them. It'll be a few. It'll be a few who will actually, have the grade and the right thinking to do it. But, someone's got to coach them to that point so that they don't get stuck in crime. They don't get distracted by the girls, by the music, by all the things that can distract you. You can have fun with it, but don't be distracted by it. That's the difference, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm teaching my son, and that's the example he's from his father. Enjoy the music, enjoy everything out there, but keep your eye on the goal. My mom is always, it was my dad really who had a saying that he used to say, if you go to the market, don't get distracted by the music and the voices that you hear, because when you go into a marketplace, you hear so much. Just focus on getting your change, right? Because that's what you need to do. Because when you buy something, you want to know that you get your change, the correct change in your hand. And that's the problem for a lot of us, that we are distracted by stuff. And that's my frustration with the whole Zimmerman thing, that, people took so much time talking about it. And we have been so focused on what we thought would happen, and how at the end of the day he's going to get manslaughter. Thank God they bought they bought people off by saying, okay, now we're not going to go for the murder 2 or whatever. It's going to be manslaughter. So people then thought, yeah, manslaughter, it gave us hope. Really? 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 There was no hope there. There was no hope. It was just a game. It was a game. Stop getting caught up in the games. The games are there to get distracted from the world. And whilst this has happened, okay, and we've been distracted with this case, there's been staff killings in Chicago. There's been stuff going on. There was a trial of the guy who walked into the theater and shot people up. People forgot everything and focused on this one case. So my thing is, right, okay, for the time we've invested, let's learn a lesson. Go back to our communities and fix ourselves. No, don't wait for an outcome of a case to fix it for us.
Yes,
we can all say, we got justice.
I agree with you, but I have to say that this case is a symptom. It's a symptom of other issues that are going on in this country, and that is why people are fascinated with this case, or have been. It's not just about the fact it's a murder case or whatever, or in this particular guy or these 2 people. It's about the symptom that this case represents in our country, and that is why people are so fascinated. And I think that's why I like to talk about it, because I think that we have so much work to do as a society in the United States, or in the world in general, but in the United States. And I think that how can you actually affect change if you don't discuss it? So I think that's why it is important. Yeah, that's why it's important to talk about it.
Yeah, and I think institutional racism is so deep. It is so deep, even in this country for us. It is in every area of our lives, not just in the court system, in the school system, everywhere. We hit these concrete ceilings, right? As people of color, we do, and the unfairness can sometimes be such a burden for our community, because you want to excel, you want to be treated the same, you want to know that wrong is wrong and right is right, but there's so many shades of gray out there, right? And people play the shades of gray. That's what they do. And so I think, just as people, we just have to stay focused. This is a difficult time.
What do you say to people who say that this, and I disagree with this, I mean, to some extent, but what do you say to people who say that this case had nothing to do with race? Nothing.
Well, I don't think so. I think it clearly was about race, because when you look at the facts that came up, although I don't think the case was really well represented, that you could walk in a neighborhood and someone, based on the color of your skin and the fact that you had a hood on, and their perception of you as a person, their perception, not what you did, but their perception could help you to lose your life.
Right.
That is deep. That is race based. So no one's saying okay, I just went up and shot the guy because I thought he was doing something crazy. I saw this guy. He was different to me. The way that he presented himself made me fear or created fear in me, and I decided to end that person's life. Really, in 2013, is that acceptable? I think not.
Right.
I think
right.
not. And
I
it
agree.
makes you afraid for every black child who walks out there in the community, in any community, who happens to be different and who crosses the wrong side of the street and goes somewhere where someone feels they are a threat because of who they are.
Yeah, and this can happen. This can happen in reverse. It could be a white person in a black neighborhood, and I'm not, and somebody could say, "What's that white guy doing in this neighborhood?" And say, "What are you doing here?" And start something with him or whatever. So it can happen to anyone, not a black person. Yeah, if it happens to a black person for some reason, it's seen as, oh, it's just they're playing the race card. They're playing the race card. No, it's not about It's not about playing the fucking race card. It's about humanity. And the fact is that it can happen to a black person, white person, Hispanic, whatever. And if it happens to a black person, it can happen to anybody else too. So it pisses me off that people make this out to be, no, it's not about race, when it so obviously is and was about race. And obviously. So anyway.
Well, I've said my bit. I've exhaled.
Right.
I've exhaled.
Excellent. I appreciate you calling in, Brittany, and I hope you have a great day today there in the UK.
Hello. I'm going to go run a few miles. I'll see you guys later.
Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Take care.
That was Ebony Empress. She has a show here on Blog Talk Radio. Check her out. She has a couple shows. She has Rise and Shine, and she also has another show. She does different topics, so check her out here on Blog Talk Radio, Ebony Empress. So I'm going to take a break, come back, and wrap up the show. David, be right back after this.
You
All right, so we are back, the last half hour of the show. If you want to call in, the number is 323-843-6160. Before I bring David back on, I wanted to say a few things. The chat room's talking about this, of course, and they're saying that, first of all, Iggy